Hey guys, welcome back to Man Time. Today's episode, we're gonna do a little something with these hay forks that broke on us. So you can see here it's split here, but the bigger problem is I've got this proprietary Westendorf system on there, and the way that you really want to buy your loader is to buy something with the type of attach that you've got like attachment stuff for, right? Now in my case, this tractor, there was only the one company selling a loader for it that I could find, so I pretty much got stuck into this system. If I had known better, I probably would have got the like skid steer type of quick attach in the front, but I got stuck with the double pin. The guy said it was a good attachment, and I think at the time this is the only attachment it came with. So what I've been doing is buying just the replacement loader attachment deals and then welding them on. Now, these are in pretty bad shape. We'll take a look at it. Welcome to Man Time. Alright, so there's our Westendorf quick attach. It's a 2-pin system, and the bottom pin is retractable through an arm that goes through there, but it's got these type of mounts here. So this is the bottom. I've got this thing lifted up, you know, upside down. So, and here's the top. Now you can see as I was messing around through there, this is completely cracked. The weld from the factory is cracked. My weld to my hay forks is cracked, and the other side doesn't look much better. It's also in pretty rough shape. So the hard part here is going to be getting this off of there. I didn't leave myself a whole lot of, well, it's there's a seam of weld across there. It's almost impossible to see, but I'm gonna have to get in there with a grinder and grind those off of there, and then also make the necessary repairs to the top part of it here. But it looks like the weld is pretty much broke all the way through, all the way around on the top side here. So I just need to focus on this bottom side, getting those cut off of there, and then I guess show you how to repair them and then put them on something else. Yet another reason when porting chainsaws comes in handy. I got most of the weld ground out on the back here, but I've got this little tiny slot of it here that I can't reach with anything. So I'm going to go to my tools here, my porting tools, and well, I've got kind of a multi-step process going on here where I grind away as much as that of the weld as I can there, and then get in there with a chisel punch and try to get something to start opening up. And I'm trying to propagate a crack is what I'm trying to do here. So nice big hammer. I believe somebody called it a BFG or a BFH. I don't know. Yeah, sometimes you just really need to step up to kind of the next level. But fortunately, banging has some good. Got that to come off of there. And I think what I can do is kind of start moving this around even. And then come back to this. Alright, one down. Combination of grinding, burr tool, and then the punch, which the end of that broke off, so I had to grind it down and start with a fresh edge. I mean, my welds are good, but they're not that good. Alright, I'm going to try to attack it from both sides here. I'm going to get the bottom moving a little bit. Which then will in turn get the top moving a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Alright, here is the end result. And you can see here there's a nice pattern on there, you know, where it made it up with this piece here. So I'm going to start grinding, you know, most of this weld off of here, but I'm going to keep that little edge so I can fit it back up. And then I'm also going to get that one off of there and start fresh, welding these ends onto both sides, cleaning everything up with a big grinder, and then yeah, welding it all back together. And I've got a new set of hay forks slash fork truck forks, so we'll check those out. Alright, well, for smaller grind jobs you might be able to get away with something like this, your little variable speed Craftsman. Well, a man's grinder, you know, you got to take grinding pretty serious, and so we'll break out the big grinder. Now, when you haven't run something in a while, get in here, check your switch, make sure it's working good. Yeah, this one has its own panel. I believe this is a pre-World War II grinder. It's a 4-belt grinder. It's got a big Delco. This is actually a repulsion motor, so you can change the speed of the motor through a deal on the back of it there. Let's get this plugged in and see how it's working. I need to grease and lube some things. This one has grease zerks. Pretty good. Alright guys, I'm going to get the rest of these cleaned up. If you find these videos enjoyable, helpful, entertaining, please give it a thumbs up. Think about subscribing if this is the type of stuff you do with your precious days off from work like I do. Shoot me a comment down below. Ask me any questions you got. Alright, we got our quick attach mount system just tacked up here. Of course, we did all our grinding and got nice clean surfaces there, but one thing you can do just to make sure that you're, you know, completely lined up, I left a little bit of grind in there, so it felt like I was pretty well lined up, but you can actually just go ahead and stick it on the machine. Now you've got this one being the top. Yeah, looks alright to me. Yeah, looks okay. Let's weld it up. Alright, well, we got them all welded up. Now this is probably the most important part, how to get them correctly positioned on whatever you're putting them on, right? Well, it's pretty easy. You just lock them into place here where they're going to sit on your loader, and then you just pull your tractor up to whatever you're putting them on and leave them attached, right? So that way when you weld it up, you know that these are where they're supposed to be on the loader. Alright, so here is our new attachment, right? It is a pallet fork looking mass type hay spear. So this is going to act as a dual purpose for me, where I can use it for hay and also use it for pallets. And I ended up getting well, we'll talk about that later, but I ended up getting a new spear. But then I didn't have anything for pallets, and the other thing that I had for pallets wasn't very good. So this is looking like it's going to be just perfect for pallets. Now, the problem is, from here to over here, we're about 2¼ inches short of what it is from here to over here. So, and you know, the distance of these, where these line up, there's nothing really to weld to. So it's going to be overhanging, right? And then it's going to kind of like, if I weld it up there, it's going to kind of hang and be down here somewhere, and there's no real good spots to weld it. So what do? Well, went to my junk pile and found this piece of channel, and I think it's 8-inch. And then I also got the cheap Amazon Lotus plasma cutter that I've never used. So let's draw up what we want to do and where we want to go to get that and those to play nice with each other. So let's start with a picture of the mast, right? It's like this. It's got rounded corners, and then it's got a center bar here, and then it's got a bar here, some random bars here, a bar here, and then it's got a couple bars here and here, maybe like that, and then some other bars here and here. Alright, so we need to know what the width, this way and this way. We need to know the height, this way and this way. We need to know the distance inside of here. That's going to match the distance inside of here. And then, I think that's basically it for that. Now, we also need to know the attachment points, right, on the loader. We need to know how long those are and how far apart they are from here to here. So let's get all those measurements and then we'll come back and look at it. So here's what we got. The main mast is 40 3/4 of an inch wide. Now our quick attachments are 43 inches wide. 43 inches. So we've got a 2 1/4 inch difference, which is 1 1/8 in there. We've got 8-inch channel that's 2.5 inches with that. So, and it's got to be 25 inches. These are 25 inches, those quick attaches. So what I'm planning on doing is having it overhang the edge of it there, no less than 1 1/8. And so let's just, to be safe, call it like 2 inches overhang. And then, so it's going to have 6 inches overhang this way, 6 inch, and it's going to come well down past this. This is 18 inch from the top of this to the bottom of that. So if I make it 25, it's going to run down into here somewhere. So I'm going to cut this channel iron 25 inches. It's going to overhang 2 inches, come all the way down to down here somewhere, and back up. But I've got to erase one of the legs on it, so it's just an L. And the L, let's see, the brace is going to be like this, coming out, and just have a flat piece over here to weld to, and then I'll stitch weld on the quick attach deals there. So it'll be like that, and then it'll be the same over here. Fully welded. I'll probably stitch weld. I'll fully weld around the corners and then stitch weld the rest of the places there where it lines up. Okay, that's the plan. Let's see if this plasma cutter works. I think we're all set up here. I do want to make sure to plug in my compressor. First thing we want to do is make sure we have a nice clean ground, right? I'm sure that's essential for this. Alright, and this is a self-igniting unit. I'm just gonna, let's see, this is gonna be, yeah, it looks like I can just run it kind of right along there. And Yeah, this is almost 1/2 inch thick. I'm going to try to start on this end just to try it out. I may need to turn it up a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to have to turn it up all the way. I got the hose over here to get this whole area wet down. Alright, still no fire. Got about 8 inches to go. I'm going to put down some more water. It's working. Alright, I found out 2 things so far. Basically, it's a lot easier with, like, when you're cutting through something, like a blind, cut. It's a lot easier to use just regular kind of safety dark glasses or whatever. But I guess we'll continue down the line here. It also works a lot better when you got the air pressure where it's supposed to be. Almost through. Yeah, one thing I found out here, that slag comes off there really easy, but you need to move your deal around there if you're going to be cutting, at different angles. So like, for instance, here I'm going to be coming down, through, around, up and over. I want that to kind of be offset like that. Okay. There we go. Yeah, this thing is awesome. Guess it's not liking this heat. You alright, big fella? Man, this is an amazing machine. And even a cheap one like this, I think I might have paid $500 for this thing. The one time you need it, it really comes in handy. And this was probably close to 1/2 inch thick. I didn't know how thick it got right there in these corners. Man, that's going to be a good strong mounting point for this loader. Cool. One quick tip: if you've got a old, World War I-ish, World War II type of grinder like this, if you don't run it very often, these belts, I just did it. You lube them down basically with Vaseline, just heap it on there. When I first got this, these belts, you know, this machine hadn't been running years and years, and so it had, you know, bends right around, you know, either side of it, and when you rotated it, you know, those bends, it was just sitting there flopping. Vaseline, letting it sit, letting it run, matter of fact, and, you know, the shaft-driven type of grinder like this, greased them up, but you can put your hand on here as you're running this, just to kind of see how everything's doing. This actually has brass bearings inside of their bushings with raceways for grease to travel through them. And then on the motor here, these older motors, this is a, it's got a packing inside of here that just soaks it up, and I'll just usually put like ATF down in there, and it'll just soak it up and keep your shafts lubed up. So that's where we're at. All right, so we got one side mocked up here for our new hay pallet fork thingamajiggers, and so I've got this channel mocked up. Of course, it's got the one side still there, the one side that we cut off. Now, don't go throwing away that piece that we cut off of here, right? That's going to be valuable, because right here now you can cut it up to size and use it as stringers, and it's thicker on that one side, you know, so you can put that there, and then, you know, one over here, measure those, and that should be strong enough. And I've compensated, you know, for the overhang that's going to come from those quick attach, you know, attachments. And yeah, now just to weld it. Whew. All right, well, I scrapped the last idea. And one lesson I learned as a young engineer, a valuable lesson that some of you might appreciate, is you can get paralysis by analysis, is the terminology there. And that's where you kind of overthink and say, all right, well, the center of mass is here, and I'm going to have moment arms here and here, and if I do it up here, then it's going to do this, and if I do it down here, it's going to do this, and it's only touching here and here, so I want to make braces here and here. And at some point, you just got to shut up and frickin' start welding, right? Start making that new product you're trying to develop, or, you know, whatever. So, but one thing I did do, I'm gonna make those decisions after I weld on my quick attaches to the big piece of channel that I have here. So I'm going to do that first, and then put it on the loader, and then put the loader up against it, and get a feel for, like, if I'm, you know, you're going to have two moment arms, essentially, at the top and bottom of this, right? You're going to have a moment arm where the bale of hay is trying to rip it off of the hay spear, and then you're going to have a moment arm down here, or somewhere in here, where it's pushing against that weight, right? So it's pushing here, it's being pulled here, and you're trying to hold the bale with the thing you're trying to hold it with. So, yeah, time for thinking about it is over. It's time to start welding. Let's do it. Well, I guess we should talk about how we got here. We finally got it on the quick attach here in the tractor. But what happened was I had the forks sitting on the bed of the truck here. I had the tractor pulled up, and those pads on the quick attach just kind of barely touching it. And then I went to shimming the forks on here using the trusty level. And what I was doing there, I was leveling this. There's a good spot right here to, you know, check for level, and then leveling it against the loader itself, and going back and forth and shimming and raising and moving and twisting and using clamps to clamp it up, and eventually, finally, got it where I wanted to. A lot of grinding, a lot of fitting work. So, I don't know. Was it worth it? Whew. Just one of those days. Oh, hair and makeup. Oh, geez, I really need it today. One of those days. First 100-degree day here. I figured I'd get out and work in it. Why not? But anyway, speaking more about the moment arms and the forces applied, you've got, you know, this big bale of hay weighing down right here on these forks. And it's kind of pushing back this way, but it's really trying to pull and break like all this up here, you know, trying to bend it over. So I moved these as far down as I could to get as close to the moment arm as possible, because the further you get away, the greater the forces without having to put more force here. It's like trying to hold a weight out, you know, with your arm extended with all that weight, trying to pull it down. But so I'm going to weld all this out just 100% here, and then probably stitch weld it here and on the inside. Put some stringers along the inside here, and especially up here, like right against the top of this, going across on the inside. Another one here on the inside, just trying to stiffen it all up. But I'm going to get this done. Got a nice set of hay forks that double as pallet forks, so pretty cool. About a third of the price of something new with the quick attach on it. Of course, I did have to pay additional for the quick attach, so I'm just under half price all in all for something that wouldn't have been exactly what I was looking for. This is actually the perfect implement for both moving hay and for using it on the, you know, on the quick attach, and for moving pallets around and everything else. So it's going to be a good tool, I think. These are really heavy duty. This is pretty nice stuff from Dean Implement Company. I don't know if that's the brand of this, or I don't see the brand on it anywhere, but anyways, I'm going to get this welded up in 100-degree weather. Get out there, have you some man time too.